Hello and a very warm welcome to Barrow in Furness in Cumbria. I was here last year making a video on whether Barrow really was as bad as is often reported in the media. And that video actually provoked a lot of response, has quite a number of views, and even made it into the local newspaper. And if you watch that video, you'll realise that actually I was quite positive about Barrow in Furness. Anyway, I've come back to Barrow to make a video of what I think are the top 7 attractions to see in and around Barrow in Furness. This isn't actually on my top 7 top things to see in Barrow in Furness, but it probably should be. And this is the very impressive Barrow Town Hall. Barrow is a very important place for shipbuilding, one of the most important shipbuilding centres in the United Kingdom, and this town hall pays tribute to that history. In fact, since I last visited, 2 important developments have happened here in Barrow. First of all, in March 2025, Barrow was given a royal charter, which means that the port is now going to be known as the Royal Port of Barrow, and Barrow has also going to be receiving £200 million to help regenerate the town. So 2 good news stories for Barrow within the last few months. So in position number 7 of things to see in Barrow Furness is this very impressive mural of Dave Myers. Dave Myers was born and raised here in Barrow in Furness and found fame as one of the 2 hairy bikers. With his friend Cy King, they travelled all around the world on their bikes, cooking and making programs, and they became very popular, very well known. Very tragically, Dave died in February 2024 from cancer, and this mural was put here in memory of Dave. And last year in June, I believe, they had a Dave Day where thousands of cyclists, motorbikers travelled all the way from London up to Barrow in Furness. I suspect that might be planned again for this year. So Dave really helped put Barrow on the map and was a fantastic advocate for Barrow. So in number 6 of my places to visit in Barrow in Furness is Barrow Island. Barrow Island is interesting for its old tenement blocks, which were originally built for those working in the shipyards. Many of these tenement blocks have undergone major refurbishment and apparently now very popular for those working in BAE and also in the offshore wind energy sector. As far as I'm aware, there aren't many tenement blocks like this left in the UK. Probably the 2 that will spring to mind will be those in Edinburgh and Glasgow, which makes this a really interesting place just to wander around and explore. As the name suggests, Barrow Island was originally an island, but now is connected to the mainland as a result of the development of the docks. But it still retains its very own distinctive identity. In position number 5, we have the Dock Museum in Barrow. This is in fact the highest ranking attraction, according to my list, actually in Barrow itself. All the subsequent places I'm going to suggest are on the edge of Barrow, a mile or 2 away from Barrow Centre. So let's go and have a quick look at the Dock Museum. So this is a fantastic free little museum that tells the story of Barrow's history, particularly its maritime history, and definitely well worth a visit. Number 4 on my places to visit in Barrow is Sandskill Hawes Nature Reserve and Roanhead Beach. When you think of Barrow, you probably don't think straight away of beaches, but Roanhead Beach is a lovely beach just on the edge of Barrow in Furness. You have spectacular views over to the Lake District, lovely sand dunes to explore, and it really is an absolutely delightful spot. So place number 3 on my places to visit in and around Barrow and Furness is Walney South Nature Reserve. So the Walney South Nature Reserve is on the very southern tip of Walney Island, 130 hectares in size, and if you want to come into this nature reserve and you're not a member of the Cumbria Wildlife Trust, then it is £3 for adults, £1 for children. Please note, dogs are not allowed in the nature reserve with the exception of guide dogs. So in the nature reserve you also have Walney Lighthouse. The original lighthouse was constructed in 1790. This one actually dates from 1804, and it was the very last lighthouse in England to be automated, so it was manned until 2003. The lighthouse is a private property, so you can view it from the trail paths, but you cannot actually walk to the lighthouse. There is a large seal colony on the southern tip of Walney Island, but I do recommend that you bring with you a pair of high-powered binoculars if you want to view them. There are a number of reasons why South Walney is third on the list, but one of the reasons is the fantastic views that you get from South Walney, including wonderful views over to Piel Castle, but I'll say more about that later. So in second place for places to visit in Barrow in Furness, we have Furness Abbey. Furness Abbey was established in 1123 and was the second wealthiest and most powerful Cistercian abbey in the country, second only to Fountains Abbey. Furness Abbey is now in the care of English Heritage, and I'll put a link in the description for details about visiting hours and opening times and prices and so forth. Furness Abbey was disestablished and destroyed in 1537 during the English Reformation under the orders of King Henry VIII. Furness Abbey, like so many historic places in the UK, does have its fair share of ghost stories. Probably the most famous one is of a headless monk who is said to ride through the old Abbey gateway, apparently a victim of Scottish invaders. So I now finally come to my number 1 top place to visit in and around Barrow in Furness, and that is Piel Island. Piel Island is situated midway between Barrow Island and Walney Island, and the main way to get there is by a passenger ferry from Barrow Island. The Piel Island ferry is seasonal and is subject to the tides and to the weather, so please do check if you're planning to visit Piel Island to see if the ferry is running. It's definitely worth going over. In Piel Island you've got the remains of a 14th century castle that was built by the monks of Furness Abbey to protect this coastal port from attack. Furness Abbey, as I mentioned earlier, being a very important place. There is also a pub on Piel Island, and the landlord is crowned the King of Piel Island. Row Island, where you get the ferry across to Piel Island, is also worth a visit in itself. A charming little village right on the edge of a peninsula. So that is my top 7 things to see and do in and around Barrow in Furness. Do you agree with those top 7 things that I've listed? Would you put them in the order I've put them in? Or is there something I have missed which you would put into that list of things to see and do in and around Barrow? Please do comment below, and if you've enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe. And until next time, take care and God bless.